Hey guys, it's Friday night here in the Philippines and it's time for us to do our free-for-all weekend video, and as promised we're taking a look at some more modern trucks. It's kind of like part two of our Christmas kickoff segment we did 2 weeks ago when I had trucks from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Well, this part two episode is the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But 2000s, the past 2 decades of the century. So anyways, basically 1980 through 2018. So that's what we're taking a look at today. I brought out some ones that we've unboxed from the past year, and some of the ones I brought out I don't think you guys have ever seen before. So there are some cool ones here, and basically, I have them all set in place to kind of make it look like a busy day at the tree lot, and everybody's buying their Christmas tree, probably like Black Friday or something like that. Everybody getting their tree to take home and decorate. But I have a couple of them that doesn't really fit into the diorama, but they're very popular, and I had to bring them out to show you guys because I think I've shown them before, but very briefly in one of my square body videos. So what I'm going to show you first are the oversized Jadas. And I know I'm always criticizing Jada to be a further Jada scale, but these trucks are actually pretty sweet. Let me scoot our camera over a little bit to get it more centered on this. So this is an 85 C10 Silverado, whatever, I think they call it 85 Silverado, dropped from the Big Time Muscle series. And I don't mean they dropped it from the lineup, I just mean this is the dropped version, because most of them are in the Just Truck series and they're lifted. Well, in the Dub City series, they made two dropped ones, and I have both. I will show you the next one here in a moment. This one has the crazy like 90s style graphics, two-tone paint job and such. Very cool. The billet grill with the hideaway headlights. I guess like mostly you would call this back in the 90s. It was like the Billet Specialties Phantom Grill, I believe is what they called this. But anyways, you could see the Jada license plate, and then chrome front bumper. The casting's cool because it has the mirrors made to the body. That's something that all the castings nowadays from Autoworld, Greenlight, M2, they're all missing the side mirrors. I know these are not factory, but still, hey, they tried and they put some aftermarket style mirrors, so it's very suiting on the truck. And M2 could have done this since they're not making stock trucks. Now, Autoworld would have had to have went with more stock looking mirrors. Same thing with Greenlight, but M2 could have done something like this and it would have looked great. Then you could see that the tail lights are filled in, and it doesn't have the typical thing that we've seen back in the 90s was the roll pan with Corvette tail lights, like the ZR1 roll pan is what they called it. It usually had the tail lights from it was like the C4 ZR1 style Vet, or C5. But yeah, that was the most common thing to see on trucks, especially S10s. So kind of cool to see that it has some custom work done. It's got the hard shell tonneau cover, which is kind of molded into the bed. I don't even see any lines where it could lift up, but hey, still really cool. These are really hard to find nowadays, and when you do find them, they're not so cheap. But I was lucky to find them here. And what's cool is it's held together by screws. And what's really cool is you can do body swaps with the Just Trucks lifted ones. I've done body swaps with my black one with this chassis and put this body on the lifted chassis, and it looked kind of cool. I may actually do photo ops of that again. So this is the first drop Jada, and I will show you this next to a true to scale square body, even though this isn't one for our show. This is like a 76, and as you can see how small the 164, true 164 is to Jada's 164. So Jada's 164 is more like 150 scale, I think. Like Hot Wheels G machines, but maybe not quite that big. So I'm not sure. Maybe 160 scale or something with these. But anyways, let's move on to the gray one. They have a charcoal gray one. And as far as I know, there were only 2 drop Jada variants. So this is your charcoal gray with the black wheels. And same series, the Dub City, I believe it was. I don't think it was Big Time Muscle. I think it was Dub City that these came in. But it looks cool with the black painted centers. I actually did the body swap with this, and I'll show you with the other truck, because the black painted centers looked really good with a black body. But same details, roll pan, the rectangle shaped recessed lights into the tailgate, and everything molded into one piece on the back, including the tonneau cover, side mirrors, billet phantom grille, so forth. So really cool truck, and I wish they were true to scale, because these would look killer in a diorama. But yeah, it's Jada scaled, so can't really complain too much. We know Jada, but they're very cool castings, all metal casting and very nicely done, kind of heavy casting. Then the third one is one of the lifted ones from the Just Trucks series. And this is the one I do body swaps with, because as you can see, he is screwed down also. So really cool that you can do that and put them back and nobody can ever tell. Kind of like the M2 stuff. So I do chassis swapping with my Jadas too, which is pretty cool. I wish I had a couple more lifted ones with different wheel variants to do swaps with the slam chassis, so to take some pics. So really cool truck. And same features, the Build Specialties grill. Now this doesn't have any tail lights as far as what I can see here, if I can get it to zoom in for you guys. As you can see, it has a Chevrolet emblem on the back, but there are like absolutely no tail lights at all on this truck. So it doesn't have the same tampos as the other one, but same body, that's for sure. They connect the same and all of that stuff. So cool looking trucks. Just unfortunate they're not true to scale. So those are 3 of the ones from the 80s. So I guess we'll continue with the 80s, and I will show you the one, once we get to the 90s, that's too small for scaling. Those were too big for 1/64th, but I have a JL that's just way too small. So anyways, let's continue with our 80s stuff. Now, next one is a Mopar, and this is the Macho Power Wagon from the Retro Entertainment series from Hot Wheels. I think this is the first release of this truck. It was Simon and Simon. Pretty cool. Has all the nice decals, Power Wagon on the tailgate, the California license plate. I think that's California. And then taillight tampos, off-road wheels with black slotted 5-spokes, and your Power Wagon graphics, the Ram emblems on the fender, and the huge front bumper brush guard on this thing. It's mammoth, so they could like go through a house. I don't really remember this show so well, but I do remember seeing it sometimes when I was a kid. I just don't recall this truck. I recall the IROC, but I don't recall seeing this so often. But I didn't watch the show that much. But it's got a really cool light bar, roll bar in the back of the bed. So nicely done truck. This one, I don't think I've shown you guys before. So this is probably maybe its first appearance in one of my videos. So then the last one for the 80s. I know I've showed you, but not for a while. This is your Friday Night Lights 83 Silverado lifted, and this is a really cool, really nice casting, and I think this is the second appearance of it. The first appearance was in the off-road series. It was yellow. Then I think they did this one. Then they started releasing it in convention and RLC releases. And then they just recently re-released it in the Boulevard series. And we will be unboxing that one in a week or so. But this is your Friday Night Lights variant. Really cool truck. So that's it for the 80s. Now moving on to the 90s. Since he's right here, we got our dropped 93 Nissan. And this is a really cool truck. Love it. I mean, it's actually ground scraping. Depending where your table is, if there's any little lump, it will rub the table. As you can see, like the tires barely are sticking out enough to roll freely on the table. So really cool truck. They did a really nice job, and as I pointed out in the other videos, I'm not sure why they have the passenger window rolled down and then your driver's side window is up. So kind of odd. I was always like wondering this. I know somebody mentioned that maybe it was because of like the cultural thing, like you would have a window down so people could hear your stereo. Could be, I'm not sure. But I know it's not an error because other guys told me that all of their castings are the same, and I've had a chance to look at a couple others and they're all the same. So it's just kind of unique that they did that window down on the passenger side. So that's the first in the 90s. Number 2 is the Cyclone. I have not got the new Hot Wheels release. I don't know which body lines are better, the JL or the Hot Wheels, but this one's nice because it's got an opening hood and a detailed turbocharged 4.3 liter V6 in it. Painted headlights, detailed emblems, detailed front end, detailed tail lights, and I know that's everything that the Hot Wheels is lacking on. All the Cyclone badges, the Hot Wheels does have that one. 1991 plate. The only thing I wish it had was more accurate wheels and the rubber tires. These are two-piece composite molded plastics that JL's well known for. Nice casting, nicely done, and scaling seems to be good for like an S10 comparing to, I don't know, we'll say, one of the newer Silverados that we have from Greenlight. That looks pretty accurate to me. I mean, like an S10 sitting next to a 2010 extended cab Silverado. I would say that's pretty much accurate. So, the next one that I have that's not in the diorama shot because of the underscaling is from JL, as I mentioned, and it's the Typhoon. It's the SUV version of the Cyclone. This is really cool. Love the colors. They did a very good job with the paint and getting it right. The wheels are spot on. These are actually stock GMC Typhoon Cyclone wheels. I wish the S10, well, the Cyclone had that. And since it's GMC, I should be saying S15 instead of S10. But this is very nicely done with all the details, the emblems, the wheels, the two-tone paint. Everything is beautifully done. Also, opening hood and detailed turbocharged 4.3. Actually, I think this engine bay is a little nicer, but it's, I guess, highlighted because of the white paint, and it really should be black like the S15. But anyways, it's way underscaled because, as you know, like the little Blazer should have the same wheelbase pretty much as a short box S10, and this is way small. Just, I think, way underscaled. So it's more like a 172. Maybe a little bigger than 172, but it should be bigger than that. Maybe they're not quite as long as an S15, the Jimmy, but it should have been the Jimmy, or well, they're calling it Typhoon, and then if it was a Chevy, it would have been Blazer. But since GMC SUV little compact one was called the GMC Jimmy, and then GMC S15, and it should not have been that much shorter. It should have been maybe a few inches shorter, or maybe the same wheelbase. I'm not sure. I would say it was the same wheelbase, but I'm not sure on that. But it was definitely not this much smaller. But it's a very beautifully done casting. That's why I hung onto it, because it's like the Jadas. The Jadas are exceptionally nice. They're just too big. This is exceptionally nice. It's just too small, but still very nicely done casting. So that wraps us up for the 90s. Now going into 2000 to 2010, we have another SUV. And I wasn't going to do SUVs, but since I don't have many trucks from the 90s, or probably say from 1990 to 2010, I had to throw in some SUVs like the Typhoon. And then this is actually a Jada that is not so Jada scaled. It's actually pretty close to being perfect 164 Suburban. The only problems I had with this one was some paint issues with the front bumper, because they painted over the chrome. The grille and the front bumper are one piece, so the blue paint peeled off. I just painted it with black Tamiya model paint and a brush, and it kind of blends in nicely because the flames are kind of black too, so it kind of corresponds well. I didn't have any blue, and if I would have, it probably would not have matched so well. So the Tamiya black did well with matching the black and the flame, so it almost looks stock. But a really nice heavy casting from Jada, and as I said, it's pretty accurate. Once again, if you take this 2011 or 2014, whatever year it is, Silverado crew cab, and compare it to like a 2000 Suburban, they probably would be the same length. It may be just slightly small, but it blends in well. Blends in much better than those oversized square bodies. So not so bad for Jada on this one. So do like this one. It does look good in the dioramas. So this is a 2000. And this body style, grill style actually started in 99 for the trucks, like the 1500. The body changed to this style in 99. The SUVs are always like a year later. So then next is another SUV. It is a 2002 Cadillac Escalade, and this is done by Hot Wheels, and this is from the Bartwell series. And this is actually another one that's pretty nicely done and true to scale. So this I like, very nicely done by Hot Wheels. Team Bartwell, detailed tail lights, nice wheels. All the body lines look good, and like comparing it to Jada's Suburban, I would say it's pretty good. As I said, the Suburban may be slightly small, but the Suburban's longer, so that's accurate, because the Escalade would have been based on like a Tahoe, which is a little bit shorter than the Suburban. So pretty nicely done with Hot Wheels Escalade. That's another one I don't think I've showed you guys before. I may have in the lowrider video. I don't remember, but I don't recall it being there. So another 2000 something is the 2007 Silverado from the Trucks Car Culture set. This is like one of the first car culture series things from 2016, 2017, before they went up in price and went to the bigger cards and actually started painting the lights. That's what killed this casting. We unboxed this a few weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago actually, and that was the one thing I criticized, was no painted headlights, no painted tail lights, but it does have a die-cast base, rubber tires and such, nice 5 spokes, and it does have a different color bike in the back. So the black bike kind of has a little detail. Just wish it had painted lights, and I may eventually add my own detail to this truck because it is a nice truck. Love this casting. I want to find the Real Riders lifted maroon one. Still looking for that one here. I know it's easy to find in the States, and it's not so overly priced yet either, but here it's a little more difficult to find, and when you do, it's usually overpriced, so that's what's prevented me from buying it. But that is a cool casting, the lifted variant of this. So very cool truck. Just wish it had painted lights. Then, last but not least, would be about a 2007 Ford SVT Lightning, Brian's truck from the Racer's Edge, his parts runner. So very cool truck, very nicely done. Maybe slightly underscale, but not too bad, so it blends in with the diorama 164 stuff fairly well. Very nice truck. They also released it this year in the main line in gold. Not sure, I don't think in 2020 it will make another appearance in the main line in another color, but by 2021 I look for them to release it a couple more times. So not very often do you get something released in the premium first and then it goes to mainline like within a couple months of each other. As we see this year, they released the RX-3 in the main line, but it's been out for a few years. It first appeared in JH1, which was 2016, so 4 years later it appears in the main line. But the Ford Lightning, it only took a month and it went to the main line, which I found kind of odd. That usually does not happen too often. So that wraps up everything from 2000 to 2010. So the other ones, I'm going to kind of be guessing on years. But as you guys know, like Silverados, 2007 to 2013, pretty much the exact same truck. Slightly differences in maybe headlight lenses. That's about it. Pretty much the same truck, though. So we'll take a look at this one since I've been using it as my comparer. This is from the Supernatural box set. You can see the Supernatural decal, and well, no, it's actually Chevrolet. So but this is the one from that box set. It had the enclosed trailer, I believe, with the Impala. So that's where this came from, and this is a 2015 Chevrolet Silverado crew cab. So nicely done with the toolbox in the back and such. Nice looking truck. Has the hitch, obviously, from a hitch and tow series. So very cool truck. Then this one next to it is a 2017, I believe. 2017 or 2018. As you can see, the headlights are a little bit different. Looks really good. This is from another hitch and tow set. This is the first time they had that acrylic trailer, meaning like the frame of it was all metal, but the sides were acrylic, so it was like a towable display case for your car. So it was kind of cool. Yeah, 2016, sorry. So 2016 release. The trailer I've since gotten rid of, but I kept the truck because I just love the color-coded bumpers. Those more, like, I don't know if I would say aerodynamic looking, but more subtle looking headlights and stuff. It just looks really clean. So I really like this truck with the black 5 spokes and such. So one of my favorite more modern Silverados that I have. Then we have a lifted one, and let me take the tree out of the bed of him, and this is a hobby exclusive release, and I believe this is a 14, maybe 15 once again. And as you can see, it's the same as all their lifted stuff. They use the regular standard ride height chassis. They just put these plastic extensions on them. So nice truck, very nice truck. with the front brush guard with the fog lights, and then your roll cage, but no fog lights. So the fog lights are in a much different position than I'm used to seeing. So pretty cool looking truck. Then I'm going to try to speed it up and take a look at our Mopars real quick. This one we've seen before. This is another hobby exclusive Ram, and it's 2014, I believe. And no, 2017 on this one. So just that green color. Love this green paint on this truck. So had to bring him out again. And it's, as I said, probably one of my favorites. Supposedly, I think it's a two-wheel drive. It's supposed to represent two-wheel drive. So one of my favorite modern Rams. I have some other ones from the hitch and tow sets, which we seen one last week, which is really cool. Then, before I forget, let's take a look at the Autoworld Ford. This is the first release of it, the blue. Then they had the release B, and it was gray. Then the next ones were white and red. I have those too, but this is the first release of it. Very beautifully done casting, very heavy casting with opening tailgate and opening hood. Very nicely done truck. The only thing I wish they would change is the headlights. I wish they would either use a tampo for more detail or retool it so they can use acrylic. That's the one thing that Greenlight beats them on with their F-150 from 2016 and newer. They actually used an acrylic headlight on the F-150, as you've seen in the Marco Island box set that we unboxed earlier in the week. So let's take a look at our last two Rams. This is your Ram Law. We unboxed this together a few months back. Very cool truck. Really like it. It's your cheaper workhorse with the steel rims and then just your basic black painted bumpers, but that also may have been done because it's a police truck, but it does have the workhorse style wheels on it. And this is a 2014, I believe. Let me flip it over and take a look. See if we can get it to focus again so I can read this. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, 2014. So really cool that they have this Ram Law, because they also have Dodge Law or Dodge Enforcement, which is a Challenger cop car, and I have it too, so they kind of correspond well together if you're trying to do like a cop diorama and some police chase shots for like Instagram or something. It looks really cool. So that is it on this. Sorry to speed through these, but I took too much time on the other ones. So last but not least, this is actually my favorite dually out of the Dually Drivers series that we unboxed a couple months ago. The, I forget, Big Country or something like that edition Ram. And just love the way this thing looks. The two-tone paint and the wheels, everything. This is a beautiful, beautiful truck, and it's a 2018, I believe. Just really nicely done. The only thing that they chinsed on is the base of this one is plastic, so that's the only thing that they chinsed on with the Dually Drivers, is the plastic base, unfortunately. But it did come equipped with a hitch, so you have the hitch if you want to hook a trailer to it and such, which I have done, and I've done some nice shots for Instagram with this truck and some black Mopars. So really love this dually, really nicely done. I like it more than the Mopar Racing dually. That's why I chose to bring him out for this video instead of the Mopar edition. The tree sticking to my finger, trying to put that back on there and put some stuff back into perspective so you can kind of see everything kind of. So that's 20 trucks, guys, from 1980 to 2018. This weekend I will probably do another video on the Pandem country exclusive Mini GT GTRs. Finally got the Taiwan exclusive and the Japan exclusive this week to complete my Pandem lineup. So I will do a brief video on the Japan and Taiwan exclusives on Sunday. So make sure you tune back in for that. And then if you have not subscribed yet, please remember to do so. Please give me a thumbs up and please share the video and tell your friends about my channel. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a great weekend.